Hello, my dear students. Welcome to our NSO workshop for 7th standard. Today, I am taking revision of chapter Reproduction in Plants. So, the ability of living organism to produce new individual of their own kind is called reproduction, and reproduction is the important characteristic of living thing. And how we can learn the characteristic of living thing? For that, there is a very simple trick, that is Mises grain CD. So by remembering this trick, you can learn the characteristic of living thing. M for movement, R for respiration, S for stimuli, G for growth, R for reproduction, E for excretion, N for nutrition, C for cellular structure, and D for death. So here R means reproduction. So reproduction is the important characteristic of all living things, and by using this trick you can easily memorize the characteristic of living thing. So the ability of all a living organism to produce new individual of their own kind is called reproduction. So it is the basic process for the perpetuation of living organism, and it helps to maintain the continuity of life. So now in this chapter we have to discuss about the plants. In the plants, flower perform the function of reproduction. Flower change into fruit. In the fruit, seeds are present. These seeds are germinate. Again, new plants are produced. So flower are the reproductive part of the plant, and other part of the plant are called vegetative part of the plants, like root hai, stem hai, leaves hai. Those are known as vegetative part of the plants. Plants do not only reproduce the flower, they reproduce in several another way also. So reproduction in the plants, mainly reproduction in the plants through the flower, but there are other way also in the plants to reproduce other than the flower. So different mode of reproduction. There are two mode of reproduction, that is sexual reproduction and next one asexual reproduction. So this reproduction having the two mode of reproduction. First one is asexual reproduction and second one is the sexual reproduction. How many mode of reproduction? There are two way or two mode of reproduction. First one, that is sexual reproduction, and second one is the asexual reproduction. First way is sexually reproduce, plants reproduce sexually, or second way है asexually. So now in the asexual reproduction, fragmentation, budding, sporogenesis, and vegetative propagation. So type of asexual reproduction. In the asexual reproduction, first one is the budding. Budding is the type of asexual reproduction. Then next one, fragmentation, and next one, that is sporogenesis, with the help of spore formation, that is sporogenesis. Then next one, that is vegetative propagation. So next type of reproduction, that is vegetative propagation. Now in case of vegetative propagation, there are natural propagation and next natural method, and next one is vegetative propagation. In that again there are the natural propagation, and next one is natural propagation. Next one is artificial propagation. Natural propagation. Next one is artificial propagation. Now in the natural propagation, through the root, through the stem, through the leaves or subaerial stem. So plants are reproduced through the root, plants are reproduced through the stem, plants are reproduced through the leaf plant है but leaf से reproduce होते हैं, and next one is subaerial part. Okay, next one, plants are reproduced through the subaerial stem. Subaerial stem. So vegetative propagation, in that natural propagation, in that first one through the root, through the stem, through the leaf, and then subaerial stem. Now again vegetative reproduction, root, stem, leaves, बट आर्टिफिशियल मेथड. ओके, हमें खुद ट्राई करना पड़ता है. दैट इज द आर्टिफिशियल मेथड बाय कटिंग, लेयरिंग, ग्राफ्टिंग एंड टिश्यू कल्चर. सो फर्स्ट बाय cutting method, then second one is by layering, third one grafting, by grafting, and last one is the tissue culture. Okay, last one is the tissue culture. So may I repeat again, a mode of reproduction. There are the two mode of reproduction in the plants. First one is asexual reproduction in the plant, and sexual reproduction. Reproduction which happens in the flowers, or flower is the reproductive organ, and that is called sexual reproduction. So flower reproductive organ hai, that is called sexual reproduction. Then asexual, budding, fragmentation, sporogenesis, then vegetative reproduction or propagation. In the vegetative, there are the two way: natural propagation, artificial propagation. Natural propagation through root, stem, leaf or subaerial stem. Artificial propagation by cutting, by layering, by grafting, and by tissue culture. So now we have to discuss all one by one. So first one, that is the characteristic of asexual reproduction and characteristic of sexual reproduction. So characteristic of asexual reproduction: in asexual reproduction, plant give rise to new plant without seed. What is the meaning of asexual reproduction? Plants are reproduced but without seed. प्लांट्स का रिप्रोडक्शन होता है बट विदाउट सीड. एंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन? प्लांट आर रिप्रोड्यूस विद द हेल्प ऑफ सीड. प्लांट्स का रिप्रोडक्शन होता है बट विद द सीड. सो coming to characteristic of asexual reproduction without seed, a single parent is involved, gametes are not formed, no fertilization or union of gamete takes place. Offspring means new plants. Okay, new baby plants. Offspring are genetically identical to the parents. ऑफस्प्रिंग कैसे होते हैं? जेनेटिकली आइडेंटिकल टू द पेरेंट, एंड मल्टीप्लीकेशन ऑकर रैपिडली. न्यू प्लांट जो रिप्रोड्यूस होंगी, दैट इज जेनेटिकली आइडेंटिकल टू द parent, and multiplication occurs rapidly. One plant, two plant, three plant, four plant, again reproduce, multiplication occur rapidly. So those are the characteristic of asexual reproduction. Now next one, that is sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, new plants is obtained with the help of seed. and it is usually biparent, male gamete, female gamete, usually biparent. Gametes are formed, male gamete, female gametes are formed, male gamete, female gamete combined together, then fertilization takes place. Offspring genetically different from the parents. New plant जो sexually reproduce होंगी, that is called offspring, and offspring is genetically different from their parents, and multiplication not so rapid. ये जो प्लांट्स है फास्टली मल्टीप्लीकेशन नहीं होता है, बट जो प्लांट असेक्सुअली रिप्रोड्यूस होते हैं मल्टीप्लाई फास्टली. So these are the characteristic of sexual and asexual reproduction. Now we see the information one by one. So first one, asexual reproduction. The plants reproduce asexually also. For example, budding है, fragmentation है, spore formation है, and vegetative propagation. So we start with first, that is the fragmentation. In the fragmentation, the parent body is broken down into two or many fragments, and they are again fully grown like their parents, and it is happen in the spirogyra, multicellular green algae found in freshwater pond and slow stream. So spirogyra reproduce by the fragmentation. So spirogyra में ओरिजिनल प्लांट्स होते हैं, उसके फ्रैगमेंट्स होते हैं. सपोज दिस वन इज द ओरिजिनल प्लांट्स, उसके फ्रैगमेंट्स होते हैं, टू और मोर फ्रैगमेंट्स, एंड दिस फ्रैगमेंट्स आर अगेन फुल्ली grown. New plants are formed by these three fragments. Again, three plants are formed. So the example is spirogyra. Plants are reproduced, but by which method? Fragmentation. And common example is spirogyra. Now next one, that is the budding. Suppose this one is the original plant. This plant having the outgrowth, and that outgrowth is called bud. Now this cytoplasmic material, it is divided, nucleus is also divided, and after some time these buds separate from the parent. So this one is the parent and this one is the bud. After some time this bud is separate from the parent, and this bud is again fully grown, and then this one also having the bud. Again new plants are produced with the help of bud, and that's why this method of reproduction is called budding. And example is yeast. Budding का example है yeast. In this process, a bulb-like projection is called bulb form to the original parent that increase in size, then break down from the parent, and it occur in the unicellular organism such as yeast, a fungus. Microscopic unicellular budding takes place in the normal condition. So ये जो budding है, budding का example है yeast. Each cell reproduce one or more tiny buds. This bud increase in size, nucleus divide, cytoplasmic material is divide, and from the original parent bud is separate, and new plants are reproduced. So this is the method of reproduction through the bud. That's why that is called budding. And example is yeast. budding का example क्या है? yeast. yeast क्या है? यूनिसेल्युलर फंगस है. ओके, yeast क्या है? unicellular fungus है. Along with the yeast, that is the multicellular hydra. hydra जो है, hydra में भी yeast है, yeast unicellular है, and then hydra multicellular है. So those are the example of budding. budding के two example है, that is hydra and yeast. Okay, reproduction takes place through the bird, and that is called budding. Now, third method of reproduction, that is spore formation, or that is called sporogenesis. So the plants like fern have the special leaves that have the spores bearing the structure, and they are called सोराई. फर्न प्लांट है, फर्न प्लांट के जो लीफ है, लीफ के ऊपर स्पेशल स्ट्रक्चर होता है, स्पोवर बियरिंग स्ट्रक्चर, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड सोराई. Spores are tiny single cell asexual reproductive units. So spores mature, then this sori burst and release in the air, and spore come in contact with the suitable condition like warm temperature. They germinate to give rise to the young plant. Fungi, mosses also reproduce by this way. Fungi hai, mosses hai, they are also reproduced by this way, that is sporogenesis. So have you seen the growth on bread? Bread के ऊपर आपने जो fine thread like structure देखा होगा, that is called hypa, and to their tip of hypa there is a spherical shaped structure that is called sporangium. So bread चपाती भाकरी, उसके ऊपर आपने जो थ्रेड लाइक स्ट्रक्चर देखा है, that is called hypha. So on the top of hypha there is sporangium is present. This one is hyphae. On the top of hyphae there is a sporangium is present, and in this sporangium there are spores are present. ये जो sporangium है, in the sporangium spores are present, and when there is a suitable atmospheric condition, this sporangium bursts and spore comes out and reproduce by the way, that is sporogenesis or spore formation. So under favorable condition of moisture, temperature, they germinate into a new individual. Okay, they उससे new individual germinate होता है. So example like fungi है, bread molds, mosses कि जो spore formation से reproduce होते हैं, plants like ferns reproduce होते हैं spore formation से. So this one is about the budding, fragmentation and sporogenesis. Now next one is vegetative propagation. In the vegetative propagation, natural propagation, artificial propagation. So plants are produced naturally through the root, through the stem, and through the leaves, and through the subaerial stem. So vegetative propagation is the natural propagation. Plants are produced through the vegetative part like root है, stem है, leaf है, subaerial stem है. So by using these, plants are reproduced, and that way is natural vegetative propagation. So first one is roots. Roots carry the many function. For example, support the plant, anchoring the plant. Root absorb the water, mineral. Apart from these, roots also take part in the reproduction or help in the reproductions. Tuberose, for example, tuberose roots of dahlia, sweet potato, asparagus become the solan to store the food, and in the next session new plants are reproduced. ओके, सो कौन से एग्जाम्पल है कि प्लांट से बट रूट से रिप्रोड्यूस होते, प्लांट से बट रूट से रिप्रोड्यूस होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल रूट्स ऑफ डहालिया, roots of sweet potato, roots of asparagus. Okay, in the first year, in the root they store the food, and in this next season new plants are reproduced from those roots. Now next one, by underground stem. So plants are second way, that is natural propagation, vegetative propagation. In that natural propagation, in that is the stem. So some plants are reproduced with the help of stem. Actually उनका stem उनको reproduction करने में help करता है. So by the underground stem. But कौन से stem? Underground stem. So stem carry out many functions such as provide support to the plant. नॉर्मल फंक्शन क्या है स्टेम के? सपोर्ट टू द प्लांट, transport water and mineral from the root to the other part of the plant. But apart from these, underground stem which help in the reproduction. So first one, that is tuber, rhizome, then next one bulb. So stem जो underground stem है, in that first one, that is tubers, then next one is rhizomes, and next one is bulb. So tubers, rhizome, bulbs, these are the underground stem which help in the reproduction. So tubers, potato is modified underground stem. Potato क्या है? Modified underground stem है. So it having the solon due to the food stored it, and it has the bird. Potato के ऊपर bird होते हैं, and in the depression called the eye, and the bird give rise to new plant. Potato है, potato के ऊपर bird होते हैं. This bird give rise to new plant, and the food stored is used up by the new plant for the growth. Now next one, rhizome. Rhizome are the main underground stem that bear the bird, and bird grow to rise the new plant. अंडरग्राउंड स्टेम है, मेन स्टेम है, उसके ऊपर बर्ड आते हैं, एंड दिस बर्ड गिव राइज टू न्यू प्लांट. एंड एग्जांपल इज जिंजर, टर्मेरिक. राइजोम के दो एग्जांपल है, दैट इज जिंजर एंड नेक्स्ट वन इज turmeric. Now third one, bulb. Bulb are the short underground stem that have one or more bud present inside the bulb to give rise to new plants. Bulb are surrounded by fleshy scale leaves. Bulb के ऊपर scale leaves होते हैं, and these scale leaves store the food, and bulb are found in onion, garlic. So underground stem, bulb के एग्जाम्पल है ओनियन, गार्लिक. देन राइजोम के एग्जाम्पल है जिंजर, टर्मेरिक. देन ट्यूबर के एग्जाम्पल है पोटैटो. सो दीज आर द अंडरग्राउंड स्टेम एंड देयर बर्ड गिव राइज टू न्यू प्लांट्स. उनके बर्ड क्या करते हैं? न्यू प्लांट्स देते हैं. नाउ नेक्स्ट वन, इन द स्टेम, सब एरियल स्टेम. So subaerial stem are the side shoot that run slightly below the soil and give rise a new roots and shoots at definite interval on the ground. So new roots form होते हैं but definite interval from the ground, and there are the two main types, that is runner and next one is stolon. सब एरियल स्टेम है, सब एरियल स्टेम में सब एरियल स्टेम, subaerial stem. In that first one is runner. उसमें first one है runner and second one है stolon. Subaerial stem, in that first one is runner and second one is stolon. So runner, in the lawn we see the grass, then oxalis, narrow green horizontal branches are developed at the base of the crown and root at interval where new crown are formed. So breaking of runner help in the vegetative reproduction. So जो ये जो रनर है वो ब्रेक होने के बाद न्यू प्लांट्स रिप्रोड्यूस होता है. ब्रेकिंग ऑफ रनर reproduce new plants. Example is grass and oxalis. They are reproduced by the subaerial stem. एग्जाम्पल है ग्रास ऑक्सैलिस. एंड कौन से मेथड का? रनर मेथड. नाउ नेक्स्ट मेथड दैट इज स्टोलन. दे आर आर्च हॉरिजेंटल ब्रांच. सपोज ये कोई भी ट्री है उसकी ब्रांच. Okay, this one is the arch horizontal branch. So stolen में क्या होता है? Arch horizontal branch that develop at the base of crown and help in the vegetative propagation. Example is strawberry and Valeriania. Okay, which are the example of stolen? Stolen के two example है, that is strawberry and Valeriania. Valeriania aquatic plant है, strawberry, and next one is Valeriania. So new plants like banana, some outgrowth occur at the base of the stem and they are sprouting new plants and are called suckers. The node is present at the stem or branch at which leaf arises. Axil is the point of attachment of the leaf at the node. Now third, that is vegetative asexual reproduction. In that fourth type, vegetative propagation, and in that plant are reproduced through the leaf. We have seen plants are reproduced with the help of root, plants are reproduced with the help of stem, plants are reproduced with the help of subaerial stem. Now third one, that is plants are reproduced with the help of leaf. Is it possible? That is new plants are reproduced with the help of leaf. Yes, is it possible? So leaves of some plants such as begona, bryophyllum. So उनके जो leaf होते हैं, leaf के ऊपर birds होते हैं. So when that bird fall down in the soil and again new plants are reproduced with the help of birds and birds are present on the leaves. So plants are reproduced through the leaves. Example है begonia, bryophyllum have the birds and help in the vegetative propagation. जो birds है vegetative propagation में help करते हैं. The fleshy leaves of bryophyllum bear the bird in the notches present at the margin, and when this bird fall in the soil, again new plants are reproduced. So plants are reproduced with the help of root, with the help of stem, with the help of leaf, with the help of subaerial, naturally. Okay, naturally plants are reproduced. Now second way, artificial method of vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction means plants are reproduced through the root, through the stem, through the leaf. That is called vegetative reproduction. So those are the natural way. Root से reproduce हो गया, stem से reproduce हो गए, leaf से naturally. But there are the some artificial way also. So artificial method of vegetative reproduction developed by the horticulture to quickly multiply the different plants and their body parts. So first method, that is the cutting. So cutting the piece of root, stem, leaves, and that are planted to the another place and new plants are reproduced. Suppose we cut the root, लेमन है, ऑरेंज है, उसको हमने रूट से अपरूट किया एंड नेक्स्ट कोई भी सॉइल में हमने उसको अगेन फिर से फिक्स कर दिया. सो प्लांट्स रिप्रोड्यूस हो गए थ्रू द रूट कटिंग. नाउ स्टेम कटिंग, जो फ्लावरिंग प्लांट है उसके हम स्टेम कट करते हैं, उसको हम फिर से रिप्रोड्यूस करते हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ स्टेम कटिंग. एग्जांपल इज रोज है, बोगनवेला है, शुगर केन है एंड एनी फ्लावरिंग प्लांट. ओके मैक्सिमम जो फ्लावरिंग प्लांट है उसका हम स्टेम कट करते हैं एंड उसको लगा देते हैं, देन न्यू प्लांट्स आर रिप्रोड्यूस, दैट इज बाय स्टेम कटिंग. देन बाय लीफ कटिंग, एग्जांपल इज स्नेक प्लांट. स्नेक प्लांट का सिर्फ लीफ कट करना है, उसको दूसरी जगह पे सॉइल में आपको लगा देना है. स्नेक प्लांट्स आर रिप्रोड्यूस थ्रू द लीफ कटिंग. So first method, that is the cutting. Now second method, by layering. In this method, young branch of plant is bent toward the ground and covered with moist soil. After some time, root develop from the covered plant. The branch is then cut and then grow the new plant. ओके जो कोई भी ओरिजिनल प्लांट है उसके स्टेम को बेंड करते हैं, बेंड करने के बाद उसके ऊपर सॉइल ऐड कर देते हैं, देन न्यू प्लांट्स आर कट करके न्यू न्यू जगह पे न्यू प्लांट्स ग्रो होती है. एग्जाम्पल है जास्मिन, ग्रेप्स, वाइन चेरी, स्ट्रॉबेरी आर डेवलप by the method of layering. Okay, then third method, that is the grafting. So this method is used in horticulture to develop the different ornamental plant like rubber plant, and then fruit tree, apple है, गवा है, mango है, उसके लिए grafting करते हैं. So in this method, stem of one plant with oblique cut is called scion, and this scion is fixed in the another tree, and that tree is called stalk, and this scion and stalk are fixed together. They are jointed with the help of thread, and after some days a branch develop that shows the combination of two different plants, because one plant is original and in that we have inserted another plant. So that method is called grafting, and it helps in high yielding variety and disease resistance variety and characteristic of both plant. Example है apple, guava, mango, ornamental plants, fruit plants. Now next one, by tissue culture. So in this method of propagation of plant under the sterile condition, exact copy of plants with desired characteristic are produced. Such plants do not transmit the disease because they are grown in sterile condition. And in this method rely on the fact that many plant cells such as vegetative part have the ability to generate the whole plant from the single part of the suppose cell है organ है, from the single cell or single part whole plants are reproduced in the science laboratory by using this technique, and that is called tissue culture technique. And plant can now grow, many plants are developed by using this technique of tissue culture. Example है chrysanthemum, asparagus, orchids. Growing plants are also grown by this method, that is the tissue culture method. Now which are the important of this vegetative propagation? Why plants are reproduced vegetatively? Desirable combination of characteristic of plants are combined. Plants are reduce or no sexual reproduction be multiplied by this method. Plants with poor viability and seed can be propagated by this method. It is the rapid method, easiest method, less expensive method. So many plants are reproduced by this vegetative propagation. Grafting, physiological fusion of the different plant combine to make the desirable characteristic plants. So this one is about the asexual reproduction in the plants. Now next one, that is sexual reproduction in plants. So second mode of reproduction, that is sexual reproduction in plants. Okay, so next one, that is sexual reproduction in the plants. So structure of flower. Flower is the reproductive organ in the plants. Sexual reproduction in plants. So, sexual reproduction in plants. So, in the plants, flower is the reproductive organ. Flower develop into fruit. In the fruit, seed is present, and those plants which are reproduced through the seed, that mode of reproduction is called sexual reproduction. So, the male and female gametes are present. Then when this male and female gametes are combined together, the fusion of male female gamete, then fertilization takes place. After fertilization, the seed and fruits are developed, and seeds are again reproduced into new plants. So next one, that is part of typical flower. So first one, that is pedicel. So flower is attached to the stem. Suppose this one is the stem, and flower is attached to the stem with the help of pedicel. Then next one, that is the thalamus. So thalamus, which bear the weight of the flower. Is the thalamus, say this thalamus is the green in color, bear the weight of the flower. Now flower having the four holes, sepal, petal, stamen, and fourth one is the pistil. So flower having four holes, sepal, then next one petals, then next one stamen, and then next one pistil or carpel. So first one, that is sepal, petal, stamen, carpel, those are the holes. Flower which contain both stamen as well as pistil is called bisexual flower. So sepal is a green in color. It protect the flower when flower is in the bud condition. Petals are colorful, attractive. It attract the insect for the pollination. Then stamen, and stamen is also called male reproductive part of the flower. Then carpel and pistil, and it is also called female reproductive part of the flower. Stamen having two parts, anther, filament. In the anther, there is yellow color powdery substance, that is pollen grains are present. In anther, pollen grains are present. Then carpel, pistil, it is also called female reproductive part, having three part: stigma, style, ovary. In the ovary, ovules are developed, and after fertilizations, this ovary develop into fruit and ovule develop into seed. So after fertilization, फ्रूट का ओवरी का कन्वर्शन फ्रूट में होता है, एंड जो ओविल्स है, ओविल्स आर कन्वर्टेड इनटू सीड्स. Now there are the two type of flower. If the flower containing male part, that is stamen, and female part, that is carpel. So if in the same flower male and female both part are present, that flower is called bisexual flower. For example, mustard hai, rose hai, petunia hai, they are the bisexual flower. Now in some flower either male or female part is present, that type of flower is called unisexual flower, having only one sex, that is called unisexual flower. Maize है, papaya है, cucumber है, date है, palm है, are the example of unisexual flower. So stamen having two part, that is the anther, filament. In the anther there are pollen grains are present, and these pollen grains develop a double layered thick wall. Outer wall is made up of waterproof substance, and they are provided with the outgrowth. So male gamete are formed inside the pollen grain. Then next one, carpel or pistil, or it is also called female reproductive part. Uske three part है: stigma, style, and next one is ovary. Okay, then how this happens? So first one, that is pollination takes place. So suppose this one is the stamen है, stamen में ये जो part है anther है, so anther contain pollen grains. So transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma, okay, to the stigma of carpel or pistil, and that one is called pollination. Transfer of pollen grain, ये जो पोलन ग्रेन किसमें होते हैं? एंथर में होते हैं. सो ट्रांसफर ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन फ्रॉम एंथर to the stigma of same or different flower, that is called pollination, and this is the first step in the fertilization of flower or in the sexual reproduction, that is pollination. So when this pollen grain transfer from the anther of the pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the same flower, that is called self-pollination. Or when this pollen grain transfer to the stigma of another flower, and that is called cross pollination. Okay, same flower पे हो गए तो self pollination, different flower पे हो गए तो cross pollination. So there are the two way of pollination, that is self pollination or it is called autogamy, and cross pollination or it's called allogamy. So along with this, some pollinating agent which help for the pollination. पोलिनेशन ऑटोमेटिकली नहीं होता है, वो थोड़ी मैजिक स्टिक है, चलो पोलिनेशन हो गया. नो, देयर आर द पोलिनेटिंग एजेंट विच हेल्प इन द पोलिनेशन. सो wind help for the pollination, transfer of pollen grain. Water help for the transfer of pollen grain. Those are the abiotic factor. Along with this, insect है, bird है, bat है, snake है, ant है, then arboreal rodent है, reptile है. Those are the biotic factor which help for the pollination. So wind pollination. So in some plants, they're having the pollen grains are light in weight, so they are transferred with the help of wind. Example, grass है, maize है, wheat है, इनके पोलन ग्रेन विंड से पोलिनेट होते हैं. देन एक्वेटिक प्लांट है, लाइक जोस्टर है, कोकोनट है, वेलेसेरनिया, जो भी एक्वेटिक प्लांट है उसके पोलन ग्रेन वाटर से पोलिनेट होते हैं. देन जो फ्लावर्स कलरफुल है, अट्रैक्टिव है, उनके पोलन ग्रेन को ट्रांसफर करने में इंसेक्ट हेल्प करता है. लाइक हनी बी इज ऑल्सो हेल्पिंग, बिकॉज हनी बी take the sweet juice, that is the nectar. So example है, that is bougainvillea, acacia, mimosa, like these plants. Insect help in the pollination. So after pollination, जो pollen grain है, pollen grain कहाँ पे आ गए, stigma. Then that pollen grain come into the style. Then this pollen grain combine with these ovules. So pollen grains and ovules, the union of male and female gamete takes place, and that is called fertilization. And after fertilization, the sepal fall down, petal fall down, the size of ovary is increases, and ovary is converted into fruits, and ovules are converted into seed, and then fruit is formed, and we eat the fruit and we throw the seed, and that seeds are again germinate, and again new plants are formed. So seed having the seed coat, then seed having radicle and pumils. Radicle से root develop होता है, pumil से stem develop होता है. So again ये जो seed है, seed dispersion होता है with the help of wind. विंड हेल्प करते हैं कि सीड को वन जगह, सीड थोड़ी अपने आप एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे जाएगा, एंड न्यू प्लांट्स रिप्रोड्यूस होगा. सो उसके लिए विंड हेल्प करता है टू पास द सीड फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू द अनदर प्लेस. एग्जाम्पल है हिप्टेच, मैपल. In that, then next one, calop trees, madar, dandelion, cotton, इनके सीड विंड से डिस्पर्स होते हैं. देन नेक्स्ट वन कोकोनट है, सीड वाटर से डिस्पर्स होता है. देन एनिमल also help for the disperse of seed. फॉर एग्जाम्पल झैंथियम है, ओर्निया है, एनिमल हेल्प करते हैं सीड डिस्पर्शन में. एंड नेक्स्ट वन, डिस्पर्शन बाय सेल्फ एक्सप्लोजन. सो ऑटोमेटिकली दैट फ्रूट्स आर ब्रस्ट. एग्जाम्पल है बाल्सम, पी, कस्टर्ड, उसके सीड ऑटोमेटिकली डिस्पर्स हो जाते हैं, एंड न्यू प्लांट्स आर रिप्रोड्यूस. And seed germination, when the seed having suitable condition, temperature, air, moisture, sunlight, then this seed germinate, give to baby plant, and baby plant is developed into new plants. So in this way plants are reproduced. There are the two ways of the reproduction in the plant, that is sexual reproduction, and next one is sexual reproduction. So in this chapter we discuss both sexual reproduction also and asexual reproduction also. Is it okay, my dear students? So
Yes, ma'am.
chapter carefully, and
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you have any doubt then you can ask me. आपको chapter carefully अच्छे से read करना है, and if you have any doubt then you definitely ask me. Ishan, are you Ishan Bhunde or Chinsole? Hello. Okay, so is it okay, my dear students?
Yes, ma'am.
Bye bye. Read the chapter carefully. Solve the question answering
Yes, ma'am.
MCQ which are given in your textbook. Okay. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.